Pearl here at the Pharmacy Farm Stand, and today is going to be a busy day. It is a little after 7:30 and the weather is looking good, so I'm going to try to get some stuff planted today. This will be the earliest I've ever started planting. Before that it was, I believe, May 7th, but the weather is looking good. There's, you know, the lows are in the 40s or above, so I'm really excited about that. So it is going to be a long day, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited to get stuff in the garden. So I'm going to mainly try to basically map out and lay out this section of the garden for vegetables, and probably work on prepping a bed for my U-pick flower garden. So I'm just excited to see how much I get done today. So okay, it's a little over 12 hours later, and I do have two 50-foot long trellis systems for my tomatoes, so that is progress and I will take it. These are some A-frames we made out of 2x4s, and then we have cattle fence wrapped around them to have a lot of tie-on points when I'm tying up my tomatoes. The A-frames have their pros and cons, but with the way that lumber prices are, I would not suggest doing the A-frames, but I actually got this whole row planted, so I'm super excited. This is the earliest I've been able to start planting, so that I have 20-something tomato plants in right now. Makes me really excited. My favorite way to do a tomato trellis is just to string a section of cattle fence, and we try to get as long as T-post as we can. So if you can get like a 7 or 8 foot T-post, that's great because you can let it stick up above the fence. And then if your tomatoes are growing taller, you can just weave a wire at the top of the T-post, and then you have an additional foot or two that you can tie up your tomatoes. So I didn't get this row planted, but I did get more of the garden laid out than I thought, so that's progress. I'll take it. But yes, I do recommend doing this style of tomato trellising if you're doing a lot of tomatoes. It's really easy to do, and I love it too because there's so many points to tie up your tomatoes. And yeah, so I'm glad that I got those in. Still a lot more to do, but that is what I got done for tomatoes today. So let me go show you the other area that I started laying out of the garden. Okay, and I got this huge section of garden also laid out, so I'm really excited about that. This was a bit of a challenge for me because where I have been growing my vegetables, there's peacocks, where I have been growing my vegetables, I was only having rows that were 12 to 15 feet long, and so that's kind of the span I'm used to, and I know exactly how many tomato plants or pepper plants fit in that span, but these are 50-foot rows, and so there's a bit of a challenge. So it took me longer to kind of figure out how to lay everything out, how to fit everything in. There's a section of landscape fabric here that was already cut out for peppers. It has the right spacing and everything, and so Walter's running around here. But those were only like 12 to 15 foot spans, so I actually had to take 5 different sections of those, perfectly line them up to those 18-inch spacing, and get that all lined up. So it took 5 sections to do one 50-foot row, so that was a bit challenging. And the landscape fabric, I'm getting used to. I started with it last year, I'm working with it this year, but I also will do some black plastic, some really thick black plastic that I can use for 2 or 3 years because I hate using single-use plastic. And here's Walter. I feel like being helped, but there's Walter helping me in the garden. So then I just laid plastic so I can kind of get moving a little bit faster. I'm going to do 2 rows of hot peppers, and then I'm going to take a break with some squash, and then do some sweet peppers. That way, some people believe in it, some people don't, but that hot peppers can cross-pollinate with your sweet peppers and can bring a little bit of heat to your sweet peppers. So I just always separate them. So I'm going to put a big, huge row of a bunch of different types of squashes in between to help prevent that. So I'm pretty excited because this section of my veggie garden's like half planned out, and I'm doing pretty good. It kind of snuck up on me that's already time to plant, but I am pretty excited that I am getting a bunch of plants in on May 4th. I'm going to get up bright and early tomorrow and start planting some more tomatoes and peppers, and I feel like this is a great start to the season, so I'm excited. Bigger and better in 2022.